I am learning that I need somebody who can, for the lack of better words, put me in my place.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was going to say. Put me in my place. Yeah. That's exactly it.
And it doesn't mean, you know, he's going to come home and beat me, because I think that's where people's minds go to, but he needs to have very strong boundaries.
Yes.
Because I find a lot of Western men don't have strong boundaries.
Yes.
So it's just like, whatever you say goes, and I can't have that, because I know myself, I will lose respect for you. If you can't say no to me,
100%.
I will lose respect.
No, when you have somebody simply break it down like this, it's like, yo, we really up against it. Like, this is a bad situation.
Not only are women girl bosses, because they're better than us, right? They're girl bosses. They're better than us at everything all the time. Watch the TV and you'll see endless girl bossing. Right. So girls are girl bosses and better than us at everything, while also being our equal, but they need DEI to get anywhere, while also being complete children who can be manipulated all the time by men according to the law. So we have this impossible three-phase system now that men are living under in the West, where girls are girl bosses, plus you're equal, but if you and her have consensual sex and she changes her mind 4.5 years later, you tricked her and you're a predator. Right. So what I'm saying is that men are now living in this impossible situation where we're supposed to protect and provide for women who are being told constantly by the Matrix to ignore us and not obey us because they're better than us. And if they do trust us, if they do listen to us, at any point in the future, after that, if they're unhappy with any set of circumstances, they can then turn around and pretend you are a predator. They can say, he emotionally abused me.
There are bad men. They're really bad. And they're a minority of the population. And they tear their way through overly agreeable populations. And to keep them from dominating, you need good men who are also capable of being quite terrible. And so that's appears to be the conundrum that women face when they're choosing male partners.
Okay, people, so you guys saw those videos. In the first video, we have a woman saying essentially that she wants a man to put her in her place, to keep her in her place. She wants a dominant kind of guy. Now, she does go on to say that she doesn't want a man who's going to abuse her or anything like that, but she does want a dominant guy. This is the typical argument of, you know, the guy was too nice. I don't really like nice men. I need a man who can challenge me, who can push me, who can read my emotions and check me. All of that. Here's a problem. At what point in time does that become abuse? At what point in time does that man cross the line and now it's abuse? And does he know? Did you tell him, hey, if you go this far, it's abuse? There's no rules to this game. And that brings us to the second video with Andrew Tate. Now he's going to go and he's going to essentially explain how we're living in a three-phase system where men are always the bad guys. They're always guilty. You know, in the first phase, we have girls are girl bosses, and that really starts early. That starts very, very early. Women are taught that they're girl bosses. They're taught that they're better than men. They are taught that men are incompetent. They are taught that anything they don't have is because men have withheld it from them, and now it's their time. So they are taught to have a very vitriolic and, you know, kind of rebellious attitude towards men. Like, hey, it's our time. Get out of our way. Beyond that, he's also going to go on to say that, you know, there's the whole component of DEI, and that kind of bleeds in with the first part. Essentially, women are better than men in all phases, but because men have held them back, we need governmental programs, policies, and procedures to push us forward. So now all of a sudden, when it comes to the professional work world, we have women everywhere, and because they are there, and they are there because the government mandated it, we cannot throw that in their face, right? We can't just throw that in their face. So now they have that. They get to have the program, but we don't throw it in their face that they're DEI hires or they're minority hires and things like that. And this has been going on for a long time. We all know about, affirmative action, stuff like that. But then you get to the final phase of what this guy is talking about, and he says the whole component of, you know, retroactive consent. Basically, you get with a woman and she's strong, she's powerful, she's amazing, she's the girl boss, she's the girl goddess, all of this. But somehow she's easily manipulated. If things go wrong, she can just say you emotionally manipulated her. You somehow violated her. She wasn't smart enough to withstand your mental prowess, even though she's the girl boss, hear her roar, she's better than you, all of this. And, somehow you violated her. And even beyond that, she can retroactively take back consent, right? We've all heard that with the me also movement and everything like that. The reason I play these two videos is because they have an intersecting point. And that intersecting point is the first woman wants a guy who's going to hold her in her place, right? And then Andrew Tate is talking about, at the end of his rant, he's talking about how women can retroactively take back consent if any set of circumstances occur to where she feels slighted or she doesn't get her way, or she just feels a kind of way. So this is why I always say, what can you prove in the bounds of a relationship? The reason I'm making this video is because I got into an argument with the guy, and he was basically saying leverage and options are not necessary when you have a marriage that's based in God. So basically his assertion was that if you go out here and you date these women and you are having sex with them out of wedlock, you're basically being promiscuous and you're going against the plan of God, and so on and so forth. And that's why you have all these issues. And that if you just go ahead and get a God-fearing woman and you're a God-fearing man and you guys, wait till marriage and all of that, you won't have these issues. Okay, I can see his argument from the standpoint of morality and things like that. And I do think that there needs to be more temperance in the world, especially when it comes to like dating and relationships and things like that. Like, we've gone way too far to the liberal side. Like, we are way too loose with how we allow people to date and mate. But here's the problem. Back to Andrew Tate's point. How do you prove consent? You can't do anything about the DEI hires. You can't do anything about the girl boss indoctrination. You can't do anything about any of that. But when it comes to you being in this relationship, whether you're in a marriage or out of a marriage, and let's, for the sake of the argument that was put forth to me, let's just assume you are in a marriage. If you are being intimate with your wife, how do you prove you did not violate her? Sounds like a stupid question, but here's the reason I ask. Remember, the first girl said, I want a guy who can put me in my place. Then Andrew Tate turns around and says, a woman can say that you violated her, you emotionally manipulated her when any set of circumstances occurs that she's upset. Keep in mind, she can say you emotionally manipulated her. She can say you financially manipulated her. She can say emotional, financial abuse. She can say physical abuse. She can say intimate abuse. She can say that you abused her in any numerous amount of ways. And my question is, how do you A, prove you did not abuse her? And how do you B, prove you did not specifically intimately abuse her? And the reason I say that is because, like that woman said, she wants somebody who's dominant. So if she can prove that you were dominant in any kind of way, not even just you violating her, just if she can prove a pattern of you being a dominant person, you choose where you guys eat. You're the one who always drives. You tell her not to go out for girls' nights. You decide how, she dresses. And keep in mind, she's going to want this. Keep in mind, she said she wants somebody to put her in her place. So that means she's going to be constantly doing things to be out of place, to where you have to check her because she gets turned on by that, or that's just something that she wants. Okay, let's say you're on top of your game. You've been watching your Andrew Tate and you've been watching your Kevin Samuels and you're fresh and fit, and you're just checking her every time she tries to get out of pocket. Boom, 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 boom. You're on top of it. And she's texting back and forth with her girlfriends and she's telling all of her business, right? Remember, I did a video on that, how women are always talking back and forth with their friends. You're never dealing with just one woman. So she's building up a rapport. She's building up an entire docket against you. She's building a case against you. So you guys are married, keep in mind. What happens when you have kids and she says, oh, well, he's a strict father. So that means you're flexing your power over the kids. She can prove in so many ways that you are potentially toxic and controlling and manipulative. How can you prove in any way, shape, or form that you're not? And like I said, specifically when it comes to intimacy, how do you prove that you did not intimately violate your wife within the bounds of your marriage? You can't. And see, this is why I always say you have to have leverage and options, whether you're dating a woman outside of the bounds of a marriage and outside of, the bounds of God and religion, or whether you're in a marriage and whatnot. You have to be in a position to get rid of that woman and start all over at a moment's notice. Because when she starts playing those cards, you don't have any cards of your own. it's almost impossible to prove that you didn't violate your wife. It's almost impossible to prove that you weren't toxic or controlling towards her in any one of those, manners, whether it's mental, emotional, physically, financial, whatever the case might be. It's almost impossible to prove. Now, I will say it's very difficult to prove that you were toxic in all those ways, but I will also say the court of public opinion does not care what you have to say. The court of public opinion does not work for men, right? It's never worked for men. It only, well, maybe in the past, maybe, hundreds and hundreds of years ago when we had the Salem witch hunts and stuff like that. But in current day, the court of public opinion doesn't work for you. So when you have this woman who's saying, I want a man who's controlling and he can put me in my place, it's like, nah, I'm going to always tell you guys, stay focused on the money, stay focused on the mission, put your money and your mission first, put yourself first, and always be willing to exercise your options. I'm not going to tell you that a woman is just about to sit there and set you up. I'm not about to sit here and make you guys think that every woman is just this con artist and stuff like that. But women who have that proclivity to want to be dominated, whether it's, in terms of their attitude and their behavior, or whether it's in terms of, the bedroom, women who want to be dominated, like that's natural because most women do want to be dominated. But in today's day and age, we just live in an era and time where they can turn that against you easily. The same thing that they are going to love about you, your dominance, your leadership, that's the thing that they're going to use to impale you and turn you into a demon, right? So that now when you guys are getting a divorce, she can say all these things that you did to her, allegedly, and she can garner favor in the courts. If you're a professional, you're a working professional, you're a doctor, a lawyer, a dentist, you got a practice or something like that. When that case starts breaking news and it starts getting out to the press, you're going to lose clients left and right. So guess what's going to happen? In order to keep things sealed, you're going to have to make a bunch of concessions. You're going to have to agree to higher amounts of child support and spousal support and blah, 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 and assets. Women know what they're doing when they do this. Keep in mind, I'm not trying to put fear in your guys' mind that whatever woman you date or marry is going to extort you this way. I'm just simply saying, like Andrew Tate said, the system is there and no man is bigger than the system. You cannot out alpha the government. You are not bigger than the system. No man ever has been or ever will be. That's why it's a system. So I don't want to beat this into the dirt. I just really want to let you guys know, if you're dealing with a woman and she's saying anything about dominance, which almost all women will, you guys have to sit down and have this conversation about how dominance and control and this alpha male behavior, that can be used against you. It's a one-way street. She gets to reap the benefits of your manliness, let's say, but it's always going to be turned around on you. So you have to have that really frank, upfront conversation, and you have to tell her, I'm not going to check you. I'm not going to control you. You're going to control yourself because, I got the leverage and I got the options, and that's why you're with me, or you got to go. It's one of the two. You have to have that option, or you have to have that conversation. The whole me also movement and all of that took a lot of things off the board. You can't let women have DEI, girl boss, and Me Too, all the while you try to maintain the systems of old that only serve to get you messed up. It's like, you can be the girl boss, you can have the Me Too, you can have all that, but there has to be an adjustment on my part to keep me safe, which means I'm not going to dominate you. You're going to stay in line or I'm going to get rid of you. So I'm not going to beat this into the dirt. Let me know what you think and I'll get back at you on the next one. Peace.